April 28th, 2026, and I am reading in your Lifebook, Element 12, Optimizing Your Success in Reaching a Healthy Weight. Average time to complete is 1 week. In this element, we will learn why timing is so important in terms of waiting before adding key habits of optimal health, clarify some important guidelines, describe why the system works the way it does, start using a checklist for success. As you begin your journey to optimal health and well-being, primarily focus on reaching a healthy weight, there are some important guidelines that may create some confusion for you. This is not what I want. So I am going to address them in this element to make sure you understand why I am asking you to do what may seem counterintuitive to your overall success. Good morning, Dina. We're in element 12, optimizing your success in reaching a healthy weight. So no fruit or extra carbohydrates during phase 1. So no fruit. While you were in phase 1 and are using the prepared fuelings, I ask you not to eat any fruit or any additional carbs. We have always been told that fruit is essential for long-term health. It is absolutely correct. Fruit is an amazing source of nutrients, antioxidants, and many other optimal health compounds. In the future, beyond phase 1, which we're starting to call the reset phase, a healthy consumption of fruit will actually help you maintain your healthy weight and acts as a key component of our healthy eating system. It is only during the weight loss phase that I ask you not to eat any fruit. Why? Whether you're using the prepackaged fuelings or preparing all of your fuelings on your own, understand that fruit has a considerable amount of carbohydrates, which is mostly in the form of sugar. As a result, they have a relatively high glycemic index and deliver a high carbohydrate load. This can take you out of fat burn state, which we are relying on to remove your excess visceral fat. Remember, our program targets visceral fat, that dangerous fat. As you can see from the following diagram, during the state of habits of healthy weight loss, we have turned off the insulin pump by specifically avoiding excess carbohydrates. As a result, the body is using fat as its fuel source to supplement beyond the energy and nutrient supplied by your fuelings and lean and green. So there's the graphic. Habits of healthy weight loss phase. So low calorie healthy fueling. You're taking in fuel from food. We keep our insulin low and our fat is burning, and then fuel from the fat cells is emptying. If you increase the carbohydrate level above a certain threshold, it will stimulate insulin secretion and shut down the fat burning machinery, or as Dr. A has been saying lately, specifically is if you spike your blood sugar, you cannot burn fat. Our program is put together to target visceral fat. So we shut down the science behind what we're doing if we're eating fruit or adding higher glycemic carbs. So a habit of disease state, we use high calorie, unhealthy foods, fuel from foods, high insulin and fat storing, and we create excess fuel entering fat cells, and the fat cells fill up. This is what happens when people inadvertently eat something with extra sugar. We ask you to completely eliminate eating carbohydrates and sugar-rich fruit only while you're in the weight loss phase so that we can create the science behind what we do. And that's something else I was going to just add here is recognize that we want to get through. We are running to the refined stage. We are running to transition. Let's create some urgency to get there because that's where we get to start thriving. We want to recalibrate the metabolism in that transition, which we're starting to call the refined stage. And then we want to run to the renew. What is renew? We are a new person. We are a healthy person. We're changing our identity and we're being that person that we've always wanted to be. So once you have reached your healthy weight and we've eliminated the excessive unhealthy fat, we will reintroduce fruit and recommend you fill a fourth of your plate with it every healthy meal you have. You will then use the color-coded system to make sure most of the fruit you're eating is in the green zone to keep your insulin level low, as depicted below. Green zone just means that that's the lower glycemic of the fruit choices. Versus red is dangerous. Yellow is high, and we can have it once in a while, but it's just not what we eat on a regular basis. So habits of health, healthy eating state phase 2 and beyond. So we do balanced calorie healthy fueling, fuel from food, normal insulin, stable weight, any excess fuel enters fat cells, fuel from fat cells between meals, fat cells normal function. As you're settling into phase 1, it is important to do a review to make sure that you are not accidentally consuming a hidden carbohydrate source. This can slow down or even stop your weight loss now or in the future. Check all of the things that you put in your mouth for any additional sugars. And there's a whole list of things to actually look for, such as coffee creamers, sweeteners, vitamins, mouthwash, toothpaste, condiments and drinks, gums, candies, breath mints, snacks, drinks. Eliminating these hidden or not so hidden sources of carbohydrates can be the difference between success and failure. And don't worry, because once you reach your healthy new weight, we will transition you to eat a variety of fruit using my color-coded plate eating system. So no or reduced exercise during the first 3 weeks of phase 1. How can eliminating or reducing the amount of exercise I do be a good thing as I start on this journey? The habits of healthy motion are a key macro habit in our system. It's one of those big rocks that we will be putting in the mason jar in the coming elements. It is much like the fruit guideline in that it's all about the timing. When we switch your body over to fat burning state, it is important to optimize the conditions for success. Your body is switching fuel sources and is not accustomed to using fat as its main energy source. Over a period of weeks, it will make that adjustment. And we will add more activity to increase your motion. And since we are dropping your daily calorie intake, if we do not go slow, there is a chance that you will become hypoglycemic, low blood sugar, and not feel very well. In addition, if you create this state, the body releases hormones such as cortisol and epinephrine, which may actually slow down your weight loss. If you have a great deal of weight to lose, a sudden increase in exercise places a high level of stress on your musculoskeletal system. Instead of risking energy, we encourage you to wait until you have lost weight and have begun to improve your stamina. Remember, our fuelings are providing the primary means of your losing weight in phase 1. In phase 2 and beyond, the progressive motion and exercise will become a primary component in helping you maintain a healthy weight and optimizing your health and well-being. So let's look at where you are in terms of your current activity level as you start the weight loss phase. Currently, minimal activity. In your case, you're probably excited that you are going to start losing your unhealthy fat without any initial need to increase your activity. In Dr. A's Habits of Health 2.2 and 2.3, we explain that our phase 1 program focuses on the quantity and quality of the food you eat to put you into a fat-burning state. Your work will start in earnest after the first 3 weeks, when we will increase your activity in baby steps as outlined in our system. As your weight has decreased, and I am sure you are feeling much better, perhaps you've started adding more activities, such as using the stairs instead of the elevator, or taking the dog for a walk. If you've been in phase 1 for a while, you may have started learning my progressive movement system for sustainable exercise, as outlined in Dr. A's Habits of Health 2.9 through 2.12, and Elements 17 and 18. Whatever your current level of physical ability, my plan is designed to give you an easy entry into the world of fitness. You've been hearing me talk about the relatively minor role of exercise plays in weight loss. Well, that is very true in the beginning of phase 1, but increasing your activity level becomes very important as you move from phase 1 into phase 2 and beyond. After the first 3 weeks of phase 1, your body is ready for increased motion. You're lighter, you have more confidence, you're physically healthier, you have the right motivation, and you're in the process of installing and are in better command of the Habits of Health transformational system. My NEAT and EAT plans for physical movement are doable and designed to fit your current level of health and fitness. Over time, these systems will put you on track for long-term success. And here's for somebody currently moderate activity. A few years back, I spoke to a group of women at a local gym. They were all interested in reaching a healthy weight. As I explained how we would accomplish this, they became noticeably anxious when I mentioned to them that we would cut back their exercise for 3 weeks to mostly stretching and limited exercise that did not make them sweat. I asked them how long they had been at the gym, and on average, they had been there about 2 years. I asked them how long ago they started and how much weight they had lost. Most of them had lost a few pounds, but had put the weight back on. I first congratulated them on their success at establishing the habits of healthy motion, exercise, at EAT, exercise activity thermogenesis, which we will discuss in the motion elements ahead. I then explained how it is virtually impossible to lose weight consistently with exercise alone without diet modification. In fact, when women work out, they experience what's called compensation, a state where you become so hungry that you have a tendency to eat more to make up for the calorie deficit. This explains why, despite their diligence, they were not losing weight as desired. I then asked if they would follow my guidelines, if I promised that they would see results such as seeing the contours of their hard-earned muscles that were currently hidden by fat in as little as 3 weeks. They were more than pleased, and after the 3 or so weeks had passed, we started progressing them back to more activity. As they slowly worked back to a full workout, I suggested they sandwiched a fueling on either side of their workout. I recommended a shake before and a bar with a glass of water after the workout, especially as the body adjusts. In this group of moderate activity, we also taught them how to increase their activity throughout the day and not just when they were at the gym. Currently, intense activity. If you're in this group, the same rules apply as above. You will want to cut your exercise in half or more until your body acclimates. If you are training for a marathon or extreme games event, you should probably wait until after the event before going on the lowest calorie program. You can work with a coach to increase your calories by adding additional lean and green fuelings. Also, like the above group, it is important to sandwich a fueling on either side of your workout, especially in the beginning, or if the workout is intense, to avoid low blood sugar post-workout. If you're serious about not just losing fat, but gaining muscle, it will be worthwhile to talk to a trainer who can explain the value of selecting protein usage, such as branched-chain amino acids. We now have the essential amino acids, which is even better than the BCAAs. Make sure you are adding the other habits of motion, so you are working on your cardiovascular endurance and flexibility as well. In summary, if you're inactive when you start the program, we'll begin increasing your motion as you start feeling better, losing weight, and feeling more energized. This will help you learn the habits of motion, which are critical to sustaining long-term weight control and optimal health and well-being. If you're currently active, just cut back until we get you into a solid fat-burning state and your body acclimates. You can then slowly work yourself back to active at a rate that allows you to thrive. For your hardcore enthusiasts that are into significant, intense activities, move at a pace that allows your body to adjust to. You lose that until body to adjust, so you lose that unhealthy fat and expose your underlying physique at a pace that is safe and effective. What's your current level of activity? In your first 3 weeks of adjustment, what are you going to do? After the 3 weeks, write down how you are going to increase your activity. And here's the next one. Why am I eating fuelings versus whole foods? But isn't whole foods better? Yes, and we will get there as you learn the habits of health. But reaching a healthy weight is our first priority and the most profound change you can make in your health. As we discussed in Element 9, how do you use fuelings to reach a healthy weight? Focusing on whole foods doesn't guarantee weight loss. There are many people who eat whole foods every day and are obese. The secret is to understand how to use whole foods effectively, and then the prepared fuelings will be used when you do not have time to access to whole foods. But we need to create success so you're in the game and getting healthier. We are going to use our 5 fuelings along with a healthy, lean, and green as a plan because they are an easy, cost-effective, and safe way to start gaining health by losing weight. As you feel better, have more energy, and are sleeping better, you will start building the confidence in our system, in me, in your coach, and in yourself. That creates the teachable moments where your motivation is higher and you are willing to go to work to learn the other necessary habits, none of which are more important than the healthy eating system that I will be teaching you shortly. It will give you full command over everything you eat and some great tools to make the job easier. So yes, it's once again about timing. We start off using the fuelings in the 5-in-1 plan to help you reach a healthy weight, which is the most important factor in our health. We then teach you in a series of micro habits how to choose correctly at both the store and restaurants and have full command over your weight management. At that point, you will be eating whole foods when it makes sense and the fuelings as convenient portable meals when you are short on time or if whole foods is not accessible. Please describe below why we use combination of fuelings and lean and green in our phase 1 of our system. So that just allows you to really process and put it down on paper so that you understand. Please describe below what role whole foods and the fuelings now play in phase 1 and how this will change over time. Discuss this with your coach. We have now discussed the importance of timing and your current location on the path of optimal health and well-being. Fruit, exercise, fuelings, and whole foods are all critical components of your success, and their roles vary depending on which phase you are in. Our system is designed to help you build a new story, one that will provide you a lifetime of health and well-being. Fruit will be a core component of healthy eating for life, but does not allow us to help you reach your healthy weight in a timely fashion because it keeps us out of the fat-burning state. Avoid fruit in phase 1. Then once you're at a healthy weight, begin to consume low and moderate glycemic fruit. Exercise will be a key component of the habits of motion routine, but it needs to be avoided in the first 3 weeks as your body settles into using fat as its stored energy. Eliminate or reduce exercise during the first 3 weeks and then progress to increasing daily activity, eventually including robust exercise as you undergo the continuum of transformation. We will teach you to make great healthy choices using whole food in your home-cooked meals. And when you are out, we will also make the steps to eating healthy simple and strategic to help you reach optimal health and well-being. The fuelings will be primary during phase 1 because of their power and design to help you reach a healthy weight. Once you have reached a healthy weight, they will become secondary to help provide healthy fuelings when the logistics of modern life do not allow time or conditions to prepare or obtain a healthy whole food meal. Here is a checklist to success. Secrets to success while in phase 1, the weight loss phase. Eat 1 fueling every 3 hours. Don't skip meals, even if you're not hungry. It's absolutely critical to fuel as scheduled. In fact, your weight loss may be slower if you don't. Get some extra rest. You may feel a little tired during the first 3 days as your body switches on its fat-burning mechanism and gears up to use its stored fat. Drink 8 8-ounce glasses of water every day. Eat slowly. Stay busy and avoid sights and smells that remind you of food, especially during the first few days. Soon enough, your own energy stores will kick in and you'll feel more in control. Use your support system, call your coach, and if you don't have one, get one. Connect with our community in person, online, and on video and conference calls. Ask your coach for more details. Limit caffeine to no more than 3 servings a day. You may find that your body is more sensitive to the effects of caffeine, making this a great time to cut back on your daily consumption. Avoid alcohol. It causes dehydration, throws you out of fat-burning state you've worked so hard to achieve, and is a powerful appetite stimulant. If you slip up, just get right back on track. But remember, it will take about 2 to 3 days after slipping up to get back into fat-burning state. For some extra motivation, review 1.3 through 1.5 in Dr. A's Habits of Health on making good choices. Make your Lifebook your best friend. Print off tracking sheets. This is a great way to monitor your progress and help you focus. Use Dr. A's Habits of Health and app, the Optavia app, to optimize your transformation. Avoid exercise for the first 3 weeks, or if you do choose to exercise, reduce your usual amount by half. Stickies on this. How long you stay in phase 1 depends primarily on how much weight you have to lose and how long you take to lose it, as well as your target BMI. While your weight loss goal can be whatever you've determined is healthy for you, there are some guidelines concerning body composition. Generally speaking, if your waist circumference is less than 37 inches for men, 31.5 inches for women, and your BMI is less than 25, you're ready to transition to a healthy eating phase. In general, you should count on being in the weight loss phase until you meet your goal and are able to maintain them for at least 2 weeks. If you have just a small amount of weight to lose, you'll transition to phase 2 fairly quickly. Continue advancing through your Lifebook elements. You will also want to read the chapters on My Healthy Low Glycemic Portion Control in 2.4 and 2.7 of the Habits of Health before you begin transitioning in Element 14, because you'll be using much of that information as you learn to eat healthy for life. After that, you'll begin the progressive movement plan outlined in 2.9 and 2.12. If you have a lot of weight to lose, you'll be in phase 1 for a while. When the time comes and you've reached your healthy weight, part 2.8 will teach you about transitioning to phase 2. In the meantime, you should read the chapters on My Healthy Low Glycemic Portion Controlled System 2.4 through 2.7, because you'll be using much of that information as you learn to eat healthy for life. In addition, once you've settled into a fat-burning state after the first 3 weeks, you should start the progressive movement plan outlined in part 2.9 and 2.12 of the Habits of Health. However, your weight loss can vary depending on your gender and certain medical conditions that may slow down your weight loss, such as hypothyroidism and PCOS, polycystic ovary system. Yeah. I would review this material often as you're losing weight and creating health. Make sure you're taking some notes as you experience better health and discuss how you are doing with your coach, because understanding where you are on your healthy journey and having support can make all the difference. In the next element, we will give you a simple way of evaluating your days one at a time, because your transformation occurs 1 day at a time. Our goal is to make small incremental improvements 1 day at a time. This will give you more optimal days, which will be created by the Habits of Health in a series of micro habit installation. Over time, you will become as healthy as you can be and experience thriving days of well-being. And since the goal is to get just 1% better each day, we need to evaluate, track, and make adjustments to get a touch better each day. And if we are not, then explore why and amp up your support and maybe ratchet down the size of your micro habits. It doesn't matter, because we are building your new story, and each day offers you an opportunity to be open, curious, and learn how to get better. But first, we must have a way of checking how we are doing and develop the means of sharing it with our support team. And on the back, there's a note to yourself, and there's several questions to discuss with your coach. So, all right, thanks for joining me,